From Insipidly Vapid Productions, this is Going In Blind. I'm Morgan Jenkins. Welcome to episode 6 of Going In Blind, a tabletop role-playing group of vision-impaired players who sit down at a table, roll a few dice, and together tell a story. Come for the adventure, stay for the nightmares. The creatures, not the bad dreams. Now just a quick note before we begin. Originally, this episode was called Escape from Neverwinter, but due to some fun and interesting timeline twitches, we've changed the name to something a bit more fitting, as this is part of the escape, but it isn't the escape as a whole. So feel free to think of it as Escape from Neverwinter Part 1. Previously on Going In Blind. Gallic, the dwarven cleric, and Linker the Momentous, a halfling sorcerer, found themselves in Neverwinter's prison, courtesy of some urchins and a mysterious fire that wasn't lit by our players. No, not at all. While in prison, a hungover man was pleasant to them. A strange crazy man made the rear wall of their cell vanish, and with a dwarven businessman called Gundren Rockseeker, our heroes made good their escape, heading through the vanished wall. On the other side of the missing wall, Gallic and Linker followed the trail of blood, noticing it becoming more erratic as it went up the corridor ahead of them, failing to understand why it did so until they heard a click, felt a stone move underfoot, and the entire corridor started collapsing around them. Our players, with Gundren in tow, ran up the corridor and smashed through a stone door disguised as a wooden door, which clicked shut behind them, and they found themselves outside the prison on the peninsula. In thanks, Gundren told them about an expedition he was mounting with his brothers, and that a cart he was using to finance their mission could be the exit from the city our players craved, provided they got to the Driftwood Tavern and out of the city before dawn broke. Gallic and Linker convinced Bell, the son of a local butcher, to let them tag along on his cart. He, in turn, talked Private Orriston, the guard posted on the Sleeping Dragon Gate, into letting them through. Will our heroes find their way to the Driftwood Tavern in time? Will Gundren keep his end of the bargain? Will the guards recognize the escaped prisoners before they get out of the city? And are goats adorable? Find out as we clatter along the road with alarms blaring in Going In Blind. Episode 6, Protector's Road. The city of Neverwinter is slow to sleep and fast to wake. The pre-sunrise light turns clouds a burnt orange as they slowly dissipate. The smell of baking bread, slightly marred by the previous day's smoke, mixes with the smell of horse dung as carts move about the soon-to-be crowded city streets freely. One cart in particular travels down Protector's Road, with sounds of goats emanating from the rear. At the front of the cart, we find a dwarf sitting quietly, occasionally glancing back down the road towards an old gate and the sound of bells ringing an alarm. Beside her sit a young human man and a halfling, deep in conversation.
So, where's the butcher?
This to Bell?
Yeah.
Oh, my pa's shop's just down the end of this road and to the left.
Okay, any good taverns around?
Oh, well, there's the Moonstone Mask, right over the other side of the city. It's always good for a laugh. A bit debonair, though. I mention it because you all look suited up and can go adventuring, and they've got all the soldiers and the like go over there. Also, there's the Driftwood Tavern, just down the end of Coriel Street. Basically, end of this road, left, left again, right in front of you.
Alright, okay. Sounds easier to get a drink, quicker.
Well, I don't want to say disreputable, but they're disreputable, is what they are.
Honestly, the uppity folk can be a little bit...
Uppity? Yes.
Yes, exactly. Alright, so how long do you think it'll be to get the goats off?
With you two helping me, it'll probably only take 10-15 minutes.
Alright, okay.
Okay.
At this point, I'm happy to...
Happy to do that?
Yep.
So we continue down the road.
The conversation subsides as they continue down Protector's Road, towards the end of it, towards the butcher. As they continue, Gallic and Linker notice to their left a pile of rags. At least, that's what it appears to be, until it shifts and coughs.
And... Oh, no, sorry, that's wrong. I don't roll. You roll now.
Alright, okay.
You both roll a... well, actually, Maddie,
Yeah.
if you could roll 1d8,
D8.
and Kat, if you could roll a d12.
Which one's the D8? Got one, I think.
Why the D8 and D12, you might ask? For something called a random encounter. Random encounters, also known as wandering monsters, have been around since the start of Dungeons & Dragons way back in the 70s, and continue to be used in 5th edition, and quite a number of other role-playing games, and are built using random encounter tables. Now, while I don't know where the use of the D8 and D12 come from specifically, they are the industry standard, if you will, and I think are just there to be a more exciting variation on using the D20. As the players roll down the street in the cart, they're going to have at least 4 encounters, 2 of which use this table, so that's 2 set encounters and 2 random. Some tables, like the Random Urban Encounters table we based ours on, which is on page 114 of the 5th edition Dungeon Master's Guide by Wizards of the Coast, have something happening for every single number not including 1, so that's 19 different things that could possibly happen. We're using 2 simplified tables, one for each random encounter, with 5 possibilities on each. On this, the first table, if the combined roll of the players is between 15 and 20, a drunk stumbles into their path. 11 to 14, that coughing beggar from before dies. 9 to 10, guards show up. 6 to 8, it's pickpockets. And 2 to 5, well...
That's a D8.
Okay,
1, 2,
thank
3,
you,
4,
never mind.
5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, you're rolling a d12. I believe so. Yes. It's always a pain because the d12 kind of looks like the d20. And
Can we say I picked up the wrong bloody
no,
die?
sorry. You got a 2. What did you get? You got a 1.
Oh.
A 1 and a 2. No, that's alright. That's alright.
I don't like your dice.
That's okay.
I don't either right now.
You can take that one back.
So you got a 1 and a 2, which is 3, which means... oh, that'll be fun. Okay.
Good.
All of a sudden, there's a loud clunk behind Gallic and Linker coming from the back of the cart as the left wheel bounces into a pothole. There's something about the angle the cart jumps at or the way the doors on the cages were built, for as it bounces, the cage doors spring open and the goats startle and scatter.
Good. This'll be fun.
And Bell stops the cart and he jumps out and he starts running around and he's calling them all by name and he's Daisy, Madeline, no, don't, come back. And trying to get them back.
Dad's gonna kill me. Cara, here, Cara, come on, come to me. Oh, damn it.
Alright, at this
Now,
point...
at this point, you can do anything you want, but you can attempt to help get them back.
Well, you said there was a beggar, or is there no longer a beggar?
No, he's still there. He's still there in the corner. You can attempt to...
Well, it's gonna be... Oi, you! I'm gonna flash some gold. Come help!
The beggar shambles over, coughing once or twice, reaching out a knobbly hand, causing a sharp, bitter malodor to emanate from the ragged folds of cloth he's swathed in. And after accepting the payment of a gold coin from Linker, begins stumbling after the goats.
So we're going to do an athletics check to see how good you are at running around and getting these goats.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could both roll a d20 again, the infamous d20.
I'm sprightly.
17! Both of you got 17. You've done that again. You did that
That's the
before.
second time.
And 17. Brilliant. So even with your chainmail, you managed to round up the goats.
It takes 5 minutes of scrambling, shouting, pleading and corralling to collect all the goats. As Gallic, Linker, Bell and the beggar lock the last one back in its cage, Gallic notices a guard who hurriedly jogs past them from the direction of the Sleeping Dragon Gate. He runs up to a few patrolling guards who are ambling down the street, beckons them over as he approaches, and whispers urgently to them before continuing on down Protector's Road. While she can't be certain, Gallic is fairly confident they've just been told of some fugitives who have escaped from the prison, although they were too far away to overhear. Continuing their pretense of not being escaped criminals, Gallic and Linker take up station either side of the cart as it once more continues down the road, the beggar shuffling off to an alcove or stoop somewhere.
I'm gonna stick alongside to make sure
Yes.
that bloody goats don't vanish again.
I'm going to do the same.
Lovely.
Possibly.
Both on the same side?
No.
No, one on
One on
each
either side. Fantastic. So as you are on one on either side, you carry along, and Maddie, on your side, on Gallic's side of the cart, you notice a man dressed almost for the docks. He's a little grubby, but he looks like a sailor or a fisherman, a little down on his luck, with sandy blonde hair and a face that you'd forget as soon as you turned away. On his arm he's got an armband with a black disc with a purple border on it. And he's standing on a crate, and he's speaking not too loudly, so the guards leave him be, but he is sort of very emphatic, and he's standing there and he's saying, "Now is the time to act, not wait. Imminente noctem,
Not wait. Imminente noctem carpe luna. Reveal only to the fellow faithful. Never follow hope or turn to promises of success. Quench it whenever you find it and hide when you cannot prevail. Obey and never speak out, lest her tears fall on your head. Dry those tears. Love is a lie. Consort not with the faithful, except to corruption."
Fairly certain he's just a nutter who spent too many hours at sea. And then we get to do this again. Oh no, then you guys get to do a different thing. Sorry, I keep going for the dice because normally I go for the dice, but I'm making you do it because it's more fun. So. Okay.
He says as he rolls.
No, I was rolling for a different thing. I read ahead. So, who rolled the d8 last time?
You did.
Okay, this time, Maddie, you are rolling the d12, and you, Kat, are rolling the d8. So you swap.
So that's that one?
Yes.
Cool. 4.
A 4 and a 5. 4 and 5 is 9.
Second random encounter table. 2 to 5, a brawl between that fisherman fellow and a guard. 6 to 8, a fire breaks out in a nearby building. 11 to 14, they're ambushed by thugs. 15 to 20, they find a trinket. And last but not least, if they roll a 9 or 10...
You continue past this ranting fisherman, and as you do, coming towards you, you see the guards that were tipped off earlier by this other fellow, and they walk towards you, and they call out. They go, "Ho there!" And Bell slows down the cart.
What seems to be the matter?
We heard word that there were prisoners escaped from the peninsula earlier this morning. Have you come by that way?
Yes. My friends and I are travelling to my dad's, the butcher's, where we'll offload these goods we got from the Black Lake farms.
Have you checked the back of the cart recently?
Well, the goats got out earlier, so yes, we have.
We need to check the cart anyway.
The second guard starts to walk around the stopped cart towards the cargo area, eyeing Linka as she passes. What are you looking for?
There are 4 escaped prisoners.
4?
Yes, a human, a dwarf, a halfling, and what was the other one?
A dwarf.
No, I've already said the dwarf.
I thought he said there were 2 dwarves.
Right. Did he say,
Did he say
2 dwarves?
I think he did.
Okay. There are 2
There are
dwarves.
2 dwarves.
This isn't one guy talking to himself. This is 2 guards. Just in case you were a bit confused and just thought one guard was standing silently by while the other one had a schizophrenic break, which can happen, but in this instance, it's not the case.
Yes. 2 dwarves, a halfling, and a human.
The second guard returns to the front of the cart.
I want you to both. Ooh.
Well, I'm not barking, I'm sorry, I just can't.
Noises. I want you to both roll a deception check.
It's a D20.
So it's a D20. You've got a +1, Maddie.
Okay.
Kat, you have a +6 to deception. You're very deceptive.
17.
17. And you got, I believe,
6.
12 overall. You got 17 +1 and got 10. So, good. So they turn to you and they go, hang on.
You're a human and a dwarf, and you're a halfling.
But there's no other dwarf.
Did you check the goats?
Yep. Nothing but goats.
Maybe they weren't in cahoots with the other dwarf.
Gallic and Linka share a furtive glance.
Jessup said they moved the other dwarf into their cell. So they must have been.
Ah, that is true.
The guard turns back to Belle.
Sorry to keep you, you understand.
May we continue? My father's shop's just down there, and the cart curfew's coming up.
Of course, citizen. Have a good day.
And they let the party pass. A few minutes later, they pull up in front of a small shop, cured meats clearly hanging behind the large glass window. Well, this is it. That was sufficiently terrifying. Ah, well, let's get these goats unloaded. And their cages, mind you. Don't take them out of their
You start
cages.
unloading the goats.
Yep.
Could I get an animal handling,
Okay.
which is
D.
your wisdom? So a D20 is again.
Yep. I also have the animal handling thing here.
Mm.
No, I left that at home. That's what I said.
The animal handling thing. Yeah, I have no idea what that is. I'm assuming it's a character trait or possibly a proficiency. Those give you bonuses to specific roles. But my notes are indecipherable from back then, and Maddie has since changed her spec slightly, so I can't even use the character sheet to figure it out. So at this point I'm just guessing, but I think possibly proficiency. Bad DM.
My goat is not going to like me.
You can re-roll ones.
This one I know. Cat's Linka is a halfling. One of the traits halflings have is luck, or being lucky. This means that if you roll a 1, which is normally a critical failure, you get to re-roll. Of course, if you roll a second one, that one you're stuck with.
You don't get to. You can re-roll ones.
That said, sometimes I might just forget that second part.
You got a 7 +3, and you got a 3 plus
13 is what I
13.
had.
Lovely. And 5. So, you're able to get them off in record time, and he thanks you,
Thank you.
and he pays you both 20 silver
Mhm.
for your help, which is just under half what he would have gotten from his par.
Now, do you know where you're off to? You seemed interested in the Driftwood Tavern.
It's the lane that starts with a C and it's down the left.
Yes, that's it. Coriel Street, just down the end here. Left again. This morning's blessings be upon you both. Thank you again.
And so he thanks you both and bids you good day.
Yep. Thank you. I'm off for a
Thank you.
stiff drink
Good.
after that.
Yep.
Day to you too.
And with that, he turns back to his work, entering the butcher's as Gallic and Linker continue their hunt for the tavern, for Gundren, and for a way out of the city of Neverwinter.
We're off. Yep. Off we go.
Will our heroes be found out when their target is so close? Will Gundren be waiting for them at the Driftwood Tavern? Or will Braxus be waiting for them around the next corner? Did Belle really manage to find Daisy? Or is she still on a roof somewhere? Find out next time, perhaps, in the Driftwood Tavern, Episode 7 of Going in Blind. In episode 6 of Going in Blind, Belle was played by Morgan Jenkins. Bowden Shaw played the first guard and the ranting fisherman, and Guard 2 was Kat Leonard. Our theme music for Season 1 is Crusade by Kevin MacLeod. Our previously on music is Black Vortex, also by Kevin MacLeod. To find out more about his music, head to www.incompetech.com/music/royalty-free. In-episode music and sound effects from Syrinscape, a sound design app for PC, Mac, Android and iDevices specifically made for tabletop gaming. It's easy to integrate into your games, not overly distracting for the DM, and it ups the immersion exponentially. Check them out at www.syrinscape.com. Please subscribe to us on iTunes, rate us, comment, share us with your friends. Whatever you can do, it's a big help. If you're not a fan of anything eye-related, you can also find us on Stitcher apparently, and on YouTube. So if you have an Android device or don't like iTunes or websites and are website-ophobic, find our episodes there. You can get in touch with us through our email, goinginblindpodcast@gmail.com. We're also very chatty on Twitter, which is @goinginblinddnd, all one word, or Facebook /goinginblinddnd. Or of course, visit our website, goinginblindpodcast.com, to check out past episodes, our custom character sheets, the modules we're running, notes on the games, and much more. Going in Blind game sessions are recorded at Vision Australia Kooyong. Going in Blind is edited and produced by me, Morgan Jenkins, and is an insipidly vapid production.
Did you need a dog barking or?
No, but I did need someone coughing their lungs out, so that works.
You're welcome.